Kathy's, the good news is the Mahamudra teachings, Lama Kathy said, are more or less covered in the very teachings she's going over with you in your monthly meetings. So right now, in studying the book by Mingyur Rinpoche, so if you have questions about Mahamudra, you might just directly ask her. You can tell him last week or last month, Charles was online and he said, ask Lama Kathy about the Mahamudra teachings that Mingyur Rinpoche gave. She can address the actual topic of Mahamudra, which is really the important subject here. The insights or the perspective that I have to offer is as a Sangha member who was on a 4-day pilgrimage. And I think that there's a lot of benefit from actually listening to my story tonight. And once again, at the end, I want to tell you what Lama Kathy said about what I had experienced. It's not an easy discussion. I'll forewarn you, and it will be unexpected. So let's proceed, but let's start out with some photos. Jody asked me to take photos, and so I'd like to start with, as I drove up to KTD, what I saw entering KTD inside the shrine room with the Sangha, and then I can set the background for these teachings. So I believe that Lisa has the set of teachings. We'll start with photo number 1 that was in my slides of the flags. Lisa, are you on? Jody,
yes,
or Wendy?
I'm looking for photo number 1.
Yeah, it's I
You
labeled
call it photo number 1? Oh, flags 1.25, or wait.
Yeah, 1, it says flags, and then there should be a 1 after KTD.
Yeah, I see 1.25.
flags.
Got it. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, the
Okay.
1 stands for the number sequence. The 25 is from the year 2025.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Here goes. Okay.
Okay, so as you approach KTD, there's a long winding road as you go up the hill. The monastery, for those who have not been there, is in the Catskill Mountains. It's just gorgeous. There are so many hiking trails, views of mountains. Woodstock is just a very beautiful place. So we can move through now these next few slides just showing the entrance with the flags. Because as you get closer to, go ahead and show the next one. As you get closer to the monastery, the flags increase. And I think these photos show that.
Sorry, I just closed it. Let's see. This one.
Any photos?
Pardon me? Okay, so
now I see a photo.
There we go. So I think you can see my heavens. Those are prayer flags. Now, the purpose of prayer flags, they flap in the wind and then they send their blessings out. And the whole monastery is quite literally surrounded with these prayer flags. I've watched the monastery grow over the last 40 years. It's such a joy to return. I want to thank KTC SoCal for their role in making this possible for me. So we can just move right through these initial slides.
Okay. That one and this one. You want me to go through the next one?
Yeah, just keep
Yeah.
keep going. Now the next one is the entryway, the gateway into the monastery.
Okay, let me get at the next one. I don't know why it stops sharing. Okay, the
That's the last slide.
oh, this is not in an order.
Maybe
Okay.
we're just going to have to go out of sequence.
Yeah. So I downloaded them all to my computer, but okay.
So
But you
they're
sent them to
numbered.
me.
So this one is the fifth slide in.
Let's slide in.
Is there a number 5?
The main.
That's all the way down at the bottom.
It's the fifth one from the bottom, the fifth up from the bottom. They're all numbered. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4,
1, 2,
5.
3, 4, 5. Got it. Okay. I had it in a different order. Got it. Okay.
Okay, so there we go. So this is now the Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche dedicated entryway into the monastery. So as you come from the parking lot, having seen the prayer flags surrounding the monastery, we're approaching now the entryway dedicated to Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche. The next slide, we can move on. Number
Got it.
6.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay. See that?
Okay, I don't see numbered that. It's the entryway. It's a close-up of the actual entryway.
We got that. Number 6. This one
Yes.
says number 6.
Okay, I'm sorry. Some reason, I think my computer got it.
Oh, man.
There's a 6 down at the bottom. Let's try that one. 6.
One, this one.
No, those are all the
bottom.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see the names of it.
Main
there we
shrine
go.
offering. Let's see.
Is there any way to make the screen larger where I can read the names? I have here. I've got a magnifying glass. Let me see if I can find it with the name. Okay.
Like my dad.
Okay. So we're looking for. There we are. Okay. It's the fourth one from the top.
1, 2, 3, 4. This one.
Yes.
We just did that one.
Okay, we just did that one. So let's see. The next one is the entry pillar. That's the one.
And we did that one too. That looks the same.
Yeah, it sure does. For some reason it got. Okay, well, let's go. Let's go to the next one then.
Okay, 6.
Okay, so the only thing I was going to show you on the pillar that's in there somewhere, it was the close-up of the beautiful refined woodwork that is done. But you can also see that in these slides, which is the interior. Now we're entering the shrine room. The shrine room has grown in terms of its beauty just tremendously. But one of the reasons I wanted to take this photo from where I was sitting was you can see how packed it is. There were hundreds of people at this presentation. It was so crowded that they had a large screen TV set up in the lunchroom where almost, well, I won't say equal number of people, but many chairs were set up for the overflow crowd to watch the proceedings. So we can go then to the next few slides show the Sangha there.
The Sangha. I'm just going to open all these. Okay.
Okay, so this one, this just shows, once again, an expanded picture of how many people were there. We can go to the next one, but that was as crowded. You couldn't fit any more people inside. I mean, that was it.
Yeah. Doesn't it go? Sorry, it's not working as I expected, but
Okay, good.
this
I
is-
can just view those. All right. So here
Yeah.
at the end, people are coming up with katas. The kata line lasted, there were so many people, the kata line lasted for 45 minutes.
wow.
Yeah.
Mm,
Now,
that's-
this is sadly, I did not get a close up of that last one we were just on. If we could go back to it,
Mhm.
that's the best picture I got of Mingyur
I can,
Rinpoche.
yeah, I can blow it up.
And what I would suggest is, if you, I think we're all aware, Mingyur Rinpoche is known as a bodhisattva, and if you can ever get into the presence of a bodhisattva, it is worth the effort. By all means, it is a blessing to be in the presence of such a one. His presence filled the monastery and also the surrounding grounds. The closest I've ever seen to that was the first time I saw His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. He got out of a car and just seemed to light up the entire environment that he was in. Mingyur Rinpoche was just tremendously powerful. So we can go on to the next slide.
Okay, next one.
Yeah, and that's just more of the people offering katas. So we'll go to the next.
Okay.
There we are. Good. It's a good sequence. Okay, that just shows the crowd lining up for katas. We can go on.
Okay.
Okay, so here is the next few slides are pictures of the main shrine and the side shrines. So this is the view from the front without Mingyur Rinpoche sitting there. He sat down in the very first row there on the. Now, the second one is the offering bowls on the left side of the main shrine. These are, we can offer online, we can go online and offer light offerings, candle offerings in people's names. If someone dies, there is a bardo offering where a candle is lit for 108 days. For 40 days. I think that's the number, but it's while the person is transversing through the bardo realms. So that's an important thing to be aware of. People often say, oh, my close friend just died. What do I do? I always just go straight to the KTD website and make candle offerings. That, to me, is the best thing I can do. So let's keep moving to the next. That's on the right side. You can see how just splendid and gorgeous these offerings are. The next photo is a side shrine. That was interesting because I thought, and I might be wrong, but when we were doing the Mahakala puja in the evening, they brought out the Mahakala Tonka and hung it from in the very center there up above. You can see where the space would go, where a tonka would go. And I think that they do that for other pujas, because the pujas now, because of so many people at KTD, it was too many people to do the side room for Mahakala or the side room for the Tara and Chenrezig practices. So they do them in the main shrine room, at least when I was there. Okay, so let's go to the next. And that's a view of the whole, each side, and then the main shrine. I think before we just close out the photos, I want to say how absolutely gorgeous the shrine room is and the whole monastery is at KTD. One of my favorite memories is back in the 1980s, passing bricks or cinder blocks to form the foundation of the shrine room. So to see it evolve to this extent is just marvelous. So let's go ahead. That's the end of the slideshow. Thank you, Lisa, for
Okay, you're welcome.
bearing with me through that.
Okay.
Or thanks everybody
Work.
for bearing with us. Okay, so I did make notes, and like I said, I had a discussion with Lama Kathy, and she told me about some of the experiences I'd had based on what I told her. And I'm going to save that to the end, but it's necessary to hear this story because it's a difficult one to hear. The teaching was a 2-day teaching. I had scheduled 1-day flight, 2 flights going from Palm Springs to, I think, Chicago, transfer straight from Chicago to Albany, rent a car, spend a night in a hotel. And I had done all this through one of the Travelocity or Expedia websites that gives a huge discount for all these things. Well, I got to Palm Springs 2 hours early, as I was supposed to on the day of departure. And we loaded up the plane as regular, wait around a couple hours and you get on the plane. And we were standing in the whatever that covered walkway is as you get onto the plane. I mean, we checked all the way through. I checked my carry-on bag that it would go all the way to the destination. And we were standing there, it seemed like a long time, and they finally came and said, we're going to have to go back into the waiting room. So we all went back, and they made an announcement that there appears to be some maintenance difficulties, and they'll let us know in a half hour. So in a half hour, they tell us that the flight is canceled, which raises a little bit of an alarm for me because my transfer time in Chicago was only a very limited hour. And if I'm delayed there, I'm going to miss my transfer to Albany. So they offered either come back tomorrow or we can get you out on a flight tonight. So I chose the flight tonight because I realized I was going to miss the first half day of teachings of a 2-day teaching because of this, but the timing was such that I would be able to get there for the second afternoon on the first day. So we waited 10 hours in the airport. I got on the flight, made it to Chicago. They did put us up at a hotel. Got on the got to the hotel. I had 4 hours there because it was late at night, and then I had to get up the next morning and get to the Chicago airport for an early morning flight to get to Albany. Got up at 4 a.m., made it by 6 a.m. to the airport. Flight was going to be at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, they got on and said the flight was canceled. So, okay, so each time you go through one of these cancellations, you have to go back. You have to find your bag wherever that has landed. And you have to go through waiting lines again. That first day had been relatively excruciating because I have a hard time standing a long time. I've told you this is a difficult story to tell, but it's only now just getting started. So I do want to say that even though this was difficult, there were difficulties arising, my own mental state was just one of pure joy that I was on my way to KTD. I was going to be able now. It was clear I was going to miss the first day of teachings, but I was going to be able to be there late tonight, be able to get the teachings in the morning, and have a day with Mingyur Rinpoche. So that was the best I could do. There were difficult situations with people in waiting lines, anger showing up. There was just difficulties all around. Well, finally, after waiting another 8 to 10 hours in the Chicago airport, got the plane to Albany. But in the process of canceling my flights, I decided I'd call I'm going to say Travelocity. I don't know. I don't want to repeat any one, but just the travel agency. And so these were non-refundable purchases of my car rental and my hotel. But we agreed if we just cancel, I was trying to get them to cancel it as early as possible on all the car and the hotel, because I might be able to get the message in time to save not paying for a full day. Well, as it turned out, they not only canceled the one day I had missed, but they canceled my remaining reservations at the hotel and the car rental. When I finally got into Albany late at night, got to the car rental spot, they refused to rent a car to me because they said that the car had been canceled. And I tried to explain, well, they were supposed to cancel one day, but the next 2 days. So that didn't work. I had to go to another car agency. Same thing happened at the hotel. When I finally got a car, I had my GPS that I had purchased for the trip. I pulled it out of my luggage, and you plug it into the car lighter. Well, it was a new car, and new cars don't have car lighters. Well, I had no GPS. And so I finally called the hotel. They directed me how to get there. It's raining. It's black at night. I have macular degeneration, a hard time seeing, but I'm creeping along the highway. I made it. And I walk into the hotel, and my reservations are canceled. And there's a fight breaking out in the lobby between the manager and an upset hotel, somebody staying at the hotel. It wasn't a physical fight, but it was a yelling match. And I just took a seat, and it lasted at least 15, 20 minutes. And it was taking all the attention of the people behind the one person behind the counter. So I finally got up. I got my room. I said it has to be first floor because I can't walk upstairs, no elevator. And I got the room on the second floor. So I said, please give me something on the first floor. They gave me the first floor, went to the whole opposite end of the hotel, which is a big, long walk, entered the room, and it wasn't made up. And so I went back. The manager at this point says, I'll get you in a good room. He grabs my bag and starts racing off. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, the number of the new room was right next to the other room, and he's going to the wrong wing. He gets to the opposite end, sees that he's in the wrong section, turns around, runs back, drops my bag in the hotel lobby, and starts running towards the correct spot. So I grab my bag. I'm running after him as best I can. This is after midnight. It's raining outside. Got inside my room. Everything's perfect. Oh, thank heavens. Got some sleep. Got up at 6 a.m. or 5:30 to get breakfast. It's free at 6 a.m. Got to the lobby. There's no breakfast. It turns out that the front desk clerk had quit at 4:30 in the morning, and there was no security, nobody at the hotel watching, guard, nothing, no employees whatsoever. Since 4:30 in the morning. So no breakfast, didn't matter. I made my way to KTD, and that's when everything changed, got registered, was able to catch breakfast at KTD. Now, the reason I tell this story with all of the difficulties involved is Lama Kathy told me I entered a Bardo realm when I started my trip. I was not upset through the whole events. Really, I was just watching it occur, but it did make me lose the first day of teachings. But the joy was, even though I was surrounded with difficult circumstances, I was filled with joy because I was headed to KTD. KTD was just absolutely wonderful. But the teaching here to me was, we're going to be put in difficult situations in our life. And it's how we react to them that our training is all about. That's what a pilgrimage is all about. Particularly when we go on pilgrimage, we will see, I've heard this over and over and over again, we will see obstacles arise. It's part of the training and the obstacles that must be overcome when we begin treading the path of Dharma. And so, as hard as that story was, with all the missed flights, the hotel room, the extra fees involved, hundreds of dollars, it didn't matter a thing. I was on my way to KTD. When I sat down at the lunch table, by the way, there were, I'm going to say, at least 300 people there for lunch. Bonnie and Jared were both there, and I think they can confirm that. The lunch lines went all the way. They had two lunch tables, one down the hallway as you go from the office to the kitchen. That was totally full with people lined up, as well as the regular lunchroom with people. I just don't know how they fed so many people. People had plates with food just stacked up, and they just kept bringing the food out. I don't know how it was even possible to do. But in the chaos, I sat down at a table and I introduced myself to the lady across the table, and she goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Bonnie Snyder." And sitting next to her was a young man, Jared Long, and I think I've got that right, Jared. And the point is, I have been wanting to meet Bonnie and Jared so long, because they've joined our KTC SoCal and they live in North Carolina. Our Sangha expands. We've had people from Brazil, we've had European visitors. I just can't even stress, that's another part of the teaching that I walked away with, was just how vast our Sangha is. And the conversation I had with Bonnie and Jared, I walk away with just such love and gratitude in my heart for their generosity to join our Sangha, to be part of it on a regular basis, to receive the teachings. It's just a remarkable story. And I hope you don't mind my sharing that, Bonnie and Jared, but I had to tell you what a pleasure it was to meet you. And that feeling of love then also extends to our entire Sangha. I made some notes, and I want to, so I'll wrap this up fairly quickly. So the key point was that Lama Kathy told me I'd actually entered a bardo, which was it explained things, because where do you have that sequence of events just go wrong, one thing after the other, fights breaking out and people upset and canceled reservations? It just doesn't happen. But I think the message to all of us is, hold on to our Dharma practice and be sincere in our practice. We don't have to go to pilgrimage to see the difficulties that we face every day, but the practices that we do have allow us to cope with these things. I will share one moment that I did have where I was unable to maintain equanimity. I saw in the 2 days of flight getting there, I did have one experience where I saw or had something happen that was upsetting to me. and anger arose. I saw the anger. I knew that it was bad. I wanted to get rid of it. So I started Tonlin, which is bring that black, dark smoke, just bring it right in and send it out in the form of white light. I tried that. I tried mindfulness, watching the breath. Every time I do these exercises that were taught, you can do them and they work momentarily, but as soon as I'd stop doing it, bang, that anger would hit again. So I saw it. A teaching of mindfulness is that you allow thoughts, emotions to arise and pass away. I did know that eventually that anger would pass away, but it was a challenge, I'll admit, to not dwell on the subject. So I did walk away with a lesson there that I've got lots of work still to do with my own personal practice, but eventually we can use these techniques to let anger subside. So I think that's the end of my presentation. I wanted to share with you the joys of being at KTD, share some pictures with you. Once again, I walked away with a huge, tremendous respect for all of our Sangha. Some Sangha members I learned at KTD. I saw old friends I hadn't seen in years. Some have been through horrendous personal experiences, and yet they keep returning to Dharma. They're persevering. That's the message I want to leave all of us with, is that we are confronted with negativities, but we also are given the techniques and the Dharma to be able to deal with it. So thank you, everyone. I guess I'd open it up to any discussions or questions. Otherwise, maybe we could do just a 1-minute meditation, and then I'll do a dedication prayer. Does anybody have any comments or questions that you'd like to go over?
Charles, did you see Lama Karma or Khenpo Ten while you were there?
Yes, I'll tell you a story about Khenpo. Lama Karma wasn't there, but Lama Tenkyong was there. And I had taken one of the rupas that we have from the San Diego KTC that we are now as KTC SoCal caring for as protectors. I took one of the Amitayus Buddha to him. It had not yet been consecrated, and I asked Lama Tenkyong to consecrate it. So he's going to do that for all of us and then send that back to me. So I did see him. I had just a wonderful brief discussion with him. He's becoming a wonderful teacher also, of course.
It sounds great, Charles. Thanks for sharing your story.
Well, thanks. I am sorry to dwell on all that happened, but I think to tell the story appropriately, you need to see those sequence of events that fell one after the other, because we oftentimes see it in our own lives when things just seem to go wrong, and that's the joy of having Dharma as a antidote. I think Khenpo Rinpoche would say was the main point. Okay, so let's just all assume a meditative posture we'll only do this a minute, and then I would like to say a somewhat lengthy dedication prayer. I do want to thank KTC SoCal, Jody, Wendy, Sue, Lisa, everybody involved, Mike, Darby, Jared, Bonnie, Kira. All of you are very important to me personally, and I just couldn't. I'm sure I missed some people. I don't see the list in front of me, but please know, You're always in my heart, and I thank you for everything you've done for me personally. So let's go ahead and sit with the back upright and just go to our breath awareness and breathe in and breathe out. As Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche would give us the instruction, just count from 1 to 21 breaths, not make it complicated. With your permission, I'll go ahead and say dedication prayers. This merit is dedicated to the end that all beings, without exception, find by means of the inner way to stability the true state of Buddhahood itself, which is the never-dying stable mind, forever blissful, being the juncture of means and wisdom. By this merit, may I quickly become accomplished in the Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception. By this merit, may all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be liberated. You who have accomplished the great bliss among the gathering of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, you who are the source of the teachings of the Buddhas of the three times, Karmapa, great treasure, may the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and their lineage dwell in this samsara for eons and eons to come. May those who study, contemplate, and practice the secret and profound teachings, eliminating unwholesome deeds and cultivating wholesome ones, be endowed with happiness, and may their practice flourish like the waters of a summer river. Glorious lamas live long, and may all beings as vast as the sky of happiness, and may I and all others without exception gather the two accumulations and purify mental veils. Thus may we all quickly become accomplished on the level of Buddhahood. O Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche, thank you for being our teacher. Thank you for giving us Dharma teachings. May your teachings increase and spread, benefiting millions and billions and trillions of sentient beings. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those folks who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who impede my progress to liberation and omniscience. May they all be happy. May they be free from suffering. May they come to rest in perfectly complete, sublime, precious, unsurpassed enlightenment. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, when I am happy, may all beings be happy. When I am sad, may the suffering of all beings be mine until the misery of samsara runs dry. Om Dura Dura Zaya Mukhi Soha. 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 Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Charles.
Thanks, Charles.
That was great.
Thank you, Charles.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming, Bonnie and Jared, particularly. I know it's awful late over there.
Oh, wouldn't have missed it. Nice meeting you in,
Your comments too, having been at that 2-day teaching, you took the full 2 days. If you have comment, let's hear. We're here to talk about the Mahamudra teachings and the experience of Mingyur Rinpoche. I should have given you a little heads up, but I would love to hear some comment on your part, what it meant to you to be there. That's the other thing that I did want to leave everybody with is the Mahamudra is really a precious teaching. And I've waited and hoped that we would be given something that was called, as this program was, Introduction to Mahamudra. Now, just as a side, I've attended some introductory classes on Mahamudra that are offered through the Tergar Monastery in Minnesota through Zoom. And they've had some very good, wonderful teachers, lamas, giving what some preparatory steps are for Mahamudra. And the one thing I walked away with from both teachings prior to this was that and we addressed it earlier in the talk this morning or this evening, not to let anger, the one moment of anger, it said, erases all the good bodhisattva wishes that we have and we want to generate. We have to train ourselves to let go of anger, to stop dwelling on the past, to stop dwelling on how victimized we are or what went wrong, and learn to accept things as they are. I had kind of wanted to add that. I'm glad Bonnie and Jared are there that I remembered to do it. And so now I'm going to turn it back to Jared and Bonnie. If you have any one thing to say about those 2 days of teachings, I'm sure we all want to hear it.
Oh, you did a nice job. I appreciate that. I really don't have much to add other than being in the presence of Mingyur Rinpoche is just such a blessing, and you can just feel it, all around you. And with his teachings, being in the present moment is where he directs the mind and everyone, which I think is a real blessing to just that joyfulness. So
yes,
that's what I took away from it. Yeah. I actually had the opportunity back in, I think it was 2002, when he first came to KTD and gave a weekend teaching on Mahamudra. And I don't remember anything about it other than just being totally blown away by his presence back then. And gosh, that was 20 some years ago.
Yes.
He's amazing. If anyone has the opportunity to be in his presence, take advantage of it for sure.
Absolutely.
Jared?
Echo those sentiments. Yeah, it was just being in his presence and in and around all those people who have that similar interest. And because it's like when Lama Karma or somebody else comes on here, it's just being around people with similar mindsets as me and this Sangha as well. And but yeah, so it's like being with family. And then we have somebody who's we're fortunate to have somebody who's realized that can actually help us understand it in something. As I remember, one of the discussion partners I had said, you were in the presence of somebody magical or wonderful when they can make something so incredibly profound seem very accessible. And that's what I took away from it, was just like, oh wow, I'm kind of getting what he's talking about. But yeah, no, like you, Charles, I find that I'm not even in kindergarten with this. I have such a long journey, but it's such a joyful journey meeting everybody. So that's what I wanted to share.
That's what we wanted to hear. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Jody, I think we're all done. And once again, everyone, I love you. I can't